everybody, welcome back to Cammie's Kids Reading. Today we have finished all of the books that we have been previously working on in the past, including The Night of the Golden Plain and Little Leaders, Bold Women in Black History. Both of those books have been in previous videos, so please welcome to go and watch those. Today we'll be starting The Boy and the Ghost by Robert D. Sansouci. Down south there was once a boy named Thomas whose family was very poor. His parents worked hard from sun up to sundown on their little backcountry farm, but could barely put enough food on the table to feed their 7 children. Thomas had 2 brothers and a sister older than he was, and 2 sisters and a brother who were younger, so he was right smack in the middle. Because he hated to see his parents work so hard and his brothers and sisters go hungry all the time, the boy made up his mind to go to the city to earn some money so he could bring it back and help his family. Since the older children had to help their parents chop cotton and the younger ones were too little to go off on their own, Thomas, in the middle, decided he ought to be the one to try and help in this way. He set out the next morning. His mother hugged him and gave him a pot and a ham bone to make soup and said, "Now you always be polite to anyone you meet and is generous as well." And then his father embraced the boy, gave him a box of matches and a croquer sack to carry things in, and told Thomas, "Be brave, no matter what happens, and always be honest." "We'll miss you," cried his 3 sisters and 3 brothers, and they hugged him one and all. "I'll miss you too," said Thomas, putting on a brave face to hide how sad he felt at leaving. So off he went, and as he walked along the road that led to the city, he picked up sticks for a fire, and he found some greens and other good things that grew wild, and put these in his croquer sack. When he stopped for lunch, he lit a fire. Then he filled his pot with fresh water from a stream and added the ham bone and the things he had gathered. Soon he had some soup boiling away nicely. When he was ready to eat, a poor man came by, even more raggedy than Thomas, and asked, "Can I have just a taste of that soup?" "Of course," said the little boy politely, inviting the raggedy man to sip his tin cup into the broth. Together they finished the soup, and tasty it was. When they were done, the man said, "Where are you heading, boy?" "To the city to earn money so I can help my family," he answered. "You mightn't have gone so far," said the other, "if you're brave enough." "I hear there's a house on a hill not far from here. A rich man lived there years ago, but he died. Folks say the place haunted, but the same folks say anyone who stays in it from sunset to sunrise will get the house and the treasure the old man hid before he died." "Why don't you go and get the treasure yourself?" Thomas asked. "I'm scared. That's the long and short of it. Folks say everyone who's tried to last the night has run away or died of fright. Now no one'll go near the place." "I will," he said, gathering up his ham bone and pot and putting them in his croquer sack. Soon after, boy and man parted ways. Just before sunset, Thomas spotted the lonely old house on the hill. Bravely he walked up and pushed open the door with a scritch. Inside, most of the dusty rooms and cobwebby hallways were empty, but in the kitchen he found a big old iron stove opposite a fireplace. There were also a table with 1 chair, a candle, and a spoon. The boy lit the candle. Then he put the last of his kindling in the stove, drew some water from a well outside the back door, and put in the ham bone and remaining greens to make soup for his supper. While it was warming, a bright light suddenly filled the fireplace across the room. There was an awful moan. Then a thin, sad voice wailed down the chimney, "Look out! My legs are falling!" With a whomp, a pair of legs encased in elegant trousers, starting a fine leather shoes, and ending at a wide belt with a gold buckle, dropped into the ashes in the cold fireplace. Immediately they got up and began running around the kitchen. They kicked at walls and doors and even the side of the big iron stove, so Thomas had to keep moving out of their way. "Aren't you going to run away?" asked the ghostly voice. "I'm fine right where I am, just so's you don't kick over my soup," Thomas said, stirring the boiling pot. Just as he was ready to carry his soup to the table, the voice wailed down the chimney, "Look out! My arms are falling!" And with a whomp, a man's 2 arms and middle, clothed in a silken shirt with silver buttons, dropped into the fireplace. Immediately the legs went over and stood waiting, while the other part climbed up and settled in place. Then the headless body fumbled around the kitchen, rattling cupboards and pounding on walls. "Aren't you going to run away?" the strange voice called down the chimney. But Thomas, who was sitting at the table, dipping up his broth with the spoon, answered, "No need to. Just see that you don't knock over my soup." "Look out," warned the voice. "Here comes the rest of me." Then a scowling head with hair and beard, red as flame and eyes like blazing coals, dropped thunk into the fireplace ashes. Right away the body of the man, or ghost, or whatever it was, picked up the head from the hearth, brushed it off, and sat it squarely on its shoulders. "Now," roared the figure, hands on hips, "what do you say?" "Do you want some soup?" asked Thomas, who wouldn't let his courage or his manners fail him. "There's still a little left in the pot, and you're welcome to share it." The ghostly figure said, "I don't need any food, but you're the only one, man or boy, who stayed long enough for me to put myself together. Now, follow me." He raised his left hand. Immediately his fingers blazed like a torch, though the fire didn't seem to hurt him any. "Now fetch the shovel that's out by the well, and follow me, if you dare." "I will," said Thomas. The ghost led the little boy to a lonely spot far from the house. Stopping under a huge sycamore tree, the ghost pointed with his right hand to the ground near its roots. "Dig there," he commanded. Thomas dug and dug until the shovel fell from his blistered hands. The ghost remained silent, one hand raised and glowing, the finger on his other hand still pointing to the hole. After a short rest, Thomas wearily began digging again. Soon the point of his shovel struck something hard. He uncovered a large earthen pot caked with dirt. When he lifted the lid, he saw gold and silver coins shining in the first glow of sunrise. "Give half my money to the poor, so my soul can rest easy," said the ghost as his legs faded away, "and keep half for yourself." His arms and middle disappeared up to his neck. "You're a good, brave lad," added the floating head, with a wink. "You set me free, and I thank you." "You're—" Thomas began, but the head was gone before he could say, "Welcome." Thomas did as he was told. He loaded the gold and silver into his croaker sack. On his way home, he gave half the money away to poor folk. When he got back to the farm, his family was overjoyed to have him back safe and sound. Then the boy shared his wealth with the rest of his family, and they all moved into the house on the hill and lived happily ever after, and the ghost was never seen in those parts again. The end. Henny Penny by H. Werner Zimmermann. One day, Henny Penny was eating corn in the farmyard when, whack! An acorn fell on her head. "Oh my!" said Henny Penny. "The sky is falling! The sky is falling! I must go and tell the king!" So she went along, and she went along, and she went along until she met Cocky Locky. "Hello, Henny Penny," said Cocky Locky. "Where are you going?" "The sky is falling, and I must go and tell the king," said Henny Penny. "Oh, may I go with you?" asked Cocky Locky. Certainly, said Henny Penny. And so they went along until they met Ducky Lucky. Hello, Henny Penny and Cocky Lucky, said Ducky Lucky. Where are you going? The sky is falling and we must go and tell the king, said Henny Penny and Cocky Lucky. Oh, may I go with you? Said Ducky Lucky. Certainly, said Henny Penny and Cocky Lucky. And so they went along and they went along and they went along until they met Goosey Lucy. Hello, Henny Penny, Cocky Lucky and Ducky Lucky, said Lucy Goosey. Where are you going? The sky is falling and we must go and tell the king, said Henny Penny, Cocky Lucky and Ducky Lucky. Oh, may I go with you? Asked Goosey Lucy. Certainly, said Henny Penny, Cocky Lucky and Ducky Lucky. And so they went along and they went along and they went along until they met Turkey Lurkey. Hello, Henny Penny, Cocky Lucky, Ducky Lucky, and Goosey Lucy, said Turkey Lurkey. Where are you going? The sky is falling and we must go and tell the king, said Henny Penny, Cocky Lucky, Ducky Lucky, and Goosey Lucy. Oh, may I go with you? Asked Turkey Lurkey. Certainly, said Henny Penny, Cocky Lucky, Ducky Lucky, and Goosey Lucy. So they went along and they went along and they went along and they went along until they met Foxy Loxy. Greetings, Henny Penny, Cocky Lucky, Ducky Lucky, Goosey Lucy, and Turkey Lurkey, said Foxy Loxy. Where are you going? The sky is falling and we must go and tell the king, said Henny Penny, Cocky Lucky, Ducky Lucky, Goosey Lucy, and Turkey Lurkey. You'll never get there in time, said Foxy Loxy. Come with me and I'll show you the shortcut. Certainly, said Henny Penny, Cocky Lucky, Ducky Lucky, Goosey Lucy, and Turkey Lurkey, and they followed Foxy Loxy right into his cave. Henny Penny, Cocky Lucky, Ducky Lucky, Goosey Lucy, and Turkey Lurkey were never seen again, and no one ever told the king that the sky was falling. The end. I'm So Embarrassed by Robert Munsch. Andrew, said his mom, let's go to the mall. You need some new shoes. No, said Andrew. You always embarrass me when we go to the mall. You always say that you are not going to embarrass me, and you always do. So no, I am not going to the mall. I promise not to embarrass you, said his mom. Ha, said Andrew, but he went anyway because he really needed to get new shoes. Just at the door to the mall, Andrew's mother said, "Oh, Andrew, you didn't comb your hair." So Andrew's mother spit on her hand and patted Andrew's hair till it was all flat. "Ah!" yelled Andrew. "Spit? Mommy spit on my hair at the mall. Very embarrassing." "Oh dear," said Andrew's mom. "I am sorry about the spit. I keep forgetting how big you are. Don't worry, I will be very careful and will not embarrass you again." "Ha!" said Andrew. It's gonna happen again. So Andrew and his mom went walking down the mall, and Andrew saw his aunt. "Please, please," said Andrew, "don't say hello to my kissy aunt." "Oh, Andrew," said his mom, "I have to say hello." So Andrew's mom said hello, and Andrew's aunt gave him a big hug, scrunch, and a large wet kiss, splurk, and that left lipstick all over his face. Look, yelled Andrew. Lipstick, hugs, and kisses. Lipstick, hugs, and kisses at the mall. I think I am going to die. Andrew hid up in a tree. Andrew's mom talked to his aunt for about 3 hours. And then she said, Andrew, where are you? Don't you get lost? Why are you up in a tree? I am definitely going to get lost if I don't stop getting hugs and kisses, said Andrew. Hugs are nice, said his mom. Gwah, said Andrew. They talked some more, and Andrew saw his teacher. Please, said Andrew, please, 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 do not let my mom say hi to my teacher. But his mom yelled, Hello, Andrew's teacher. Andrew says you are his best teacher ever, and we are so happy that he got you for a teacher. And would you like to see some of Andrew's baby pictures? Ah, yelled Andrew. Baby pictures, ah! Andrew, said his mom, stand beside your teacher. I'm going to take a picture. You could see his bum. Andrew ran away. His mom found him and said, Andrew, why are you hiding behind a trash can? Baby pictures, said Andrew. You showed baby pictures to my teacher. Very embarrassing. You promised you were not going to embarrass me. Okay, said his mom. I will be very careful and I will not embarrass you anymore. I'm sorry. Look, said Andrew, there is Taylor J from my school. How about I stay with Taylor J and you go shop by yourself for a while? Good idea, said Andrew's mom. Taylor J, said Andrew, I am going nuts. My mom is embarrassing me all over the place. I am glad you are here so my mom will leave me alone. Maybe you should not be so glad, said Taylor J. Here comes my mom. Taylor J's mom came up and said, Taylor J, do you want me to buy you the pink underpants or the yellow underpants? Ah, yelled Taylor J. Underpants in a boy's face? Andrew and Taylor J ran across the mall and jumped into a trash can. After a while, their moms came by and knocked on the trash can. Andrew, said his mom, why are you in the trash can? I am here because I am so embarrassed, said Andrew. Me too, said Taylor J. I don't believe it. Underpants in a boy's face. Now, said their moms. You're just too sensitive. You should not let things bother you so much. Okay, said Andrew and Taylor J. Then this won't bother you. They jumped out of the trash can, ran in the middle of the mall, and yelled, Our moms snore like grizzly bears and blame it on our dads. Both moms yelled, Ah! and jumped into the trash can. Andrew and Taylor J knocked on the trash can and asked their moms, how was the embarrassment? And they yelled back, How could you embarrass us so? Well, said Andrew and Taylor J, we had good teachers. The end. Class Clown by Robert Munsch. When Leonardo was a baby, his mother laughed all the time. She said, This baby is so funny. When Leonardo was 1 year old, his grandma and grandpa laughed all the time. They said, "This baby is so funny." When Leonardo was 3 years old, everyone laughed. They said, "This kid is so funny." When Leonardo was in grade 1, the kids laughed all the time. They said, "Leonardo is so funny. He is our class clown." But Mrs. Gomez said, "Leonardo, you have to stop. Kids are laughing all the time and nobody is learning. Stop being funny." "Okay," said Leonard, and for the first time in his whole life, he stopped being funny. After 1 minute, Leonardo felt really strange. After 2 minutes, he felt a little bit sick. After 3 minutes, he started to chew his fingernails. After 4 minutes, he started to rock back and forth in his seat. After 5 minutes, he said, "I know that Mrs. Gomez is really tired of me being the class clown, but I just have to do something funny." So Leonardo looked at the girl sitting next to him and made a funny face. The girl didn't do anything. So Leonardo made a really funny face, and the girl laughed so hard she fell off her chair and rolled around on the floor. "Stop!" said Mrs. Gomez, and the girl just kept on laughing. "Stop!" yelled Mrs. Gomez, and finally the girl stopped laughing and got back in her seat. "What is going on?" said Mrs. Gomez to the girl. "I was thinking of something very funny," said the girl. "No thinking in my class," said Mrs. Gomez. "Okay," said the girl. "I will never think again." "Good," said Mrs. Gomez. Leonardo couldn't stop. He said, "I know that Mrs. Gomez is really, really tired of me being the class clown, and I will probably get in big trouble, but I just have to do something else funny." So Leonardo leaned over to the boy next to him and told a funny joke. The boy didn't do anything. So Leonardo leaned over again and told a really, really funny joke. And the boy laughed so hard he fell off his chair, rolled around on the floor, and kicked over his own desk. "Stop," said Mrs. Gomez. The boy kept rolling around on the floor. "Stop!" yelled Mrs. Gomez. "What is going on?" "I remembered something very funny," said the boy. "Well, don't remember anything in my class," said Mrs. Gomez. "Okay," said the boy. "I will never remember anything again." "Good," said Mrs. Gomez. Leonardo was okay till after lunch. Then he said, "I know that Mrs. Gomez is really, really, really tired of me being the class clown, and I will probably get in big trouble, but I just have to do one last funny thing." So while Mrs. Gomez was writing on the chalkboard, Leonardo drew a funny picture and held it up so everyone could see it. Nobody laughed. Nobody laughed. What the heck? So Leonardo drew a really, really, really funny picture, held it up, and all the kids in the class laughed so hard they fell off their chairs, rolled around on the floor, and knocked over their desks. "Stop!" yelled Mrs. Gomez. "What is going on?" "It's Leonard," all the kids yelled. "He's being the class clown." "Leonardo," said Mrs. Gomez, "I have told you to stop being a clown, and now I am getting really, 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 really mad." "Okay," said Leonard, "I will never, ever be funny again." "Ha!" said Mrs. Gomez, and she laughed so hard she fell down, rolled around on the floor, and kicked over her desk. She said, "Leonardo, you are so funny." And that was when Leonardo decided that when he grew up, he was going to be a clown. The end. Give Me Back My Dad by Robert Munsch. One day, Cheryl and her father decided to go ice fishing. They got on the snowmobile, put all their stuff in the sled on the back, and went bouncing over bumps and across lakes until they came to a very good place to fish. This place, said Cheryl's father, is the best place to fish in the whole world. But the fish are smart. You've got to be really smart to catch these fish. Phooey, said Cheryl. I'm smarter than any fish. So her father got out a nice drill and drilled an enormous hole. They chopped the ice and drilled some more, and then they were done. Wow, said Cheryl's father. Really thick ice. Now we can fish. He got out a hook and line and bait and said to Cheryl, you fish down this hole, but be very careful because these fish are smart. Phooey, said Cheryl. I'm smarter than any fish. She jigged her line up and down and 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 said, I want to catch a fish. Be patient, said her dad. So Cheryl jigged her line up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and said, I want to catch a fish. Then up out of the hole came a candy bar with a line on it. Look at that, said Cheryl. It's a candy bar. Her father yelled, Don't touch that! But Cheryl grabbed the candy bar and was pulled right down underneath the ice. Cheryl's father yelled down the hole, Give me back my baby! A fish stuck its head out of the water and said, We caught this kid fair and square. You can't have her back. Grrr, said Cheryl's father. Cheryl's father got an idea. He put a very small piece of bait on a line and jigged it up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. And all of a sudden, he pulled up a very small baby fish. The baby fish stuck its head out of the water and said, Give me back my baby. Well, said Cheryl's father, I'll give you back your baby if you give me back my baby. Grrr, said the big fish. Cheryl's father tossed the little fish back and Cheryl came flying up out of the hole. She said, Brr, it's cold, and right away she started turning into an icicle. Her father picked her up, ran to shore, and got a fire going in the Labrador tent. Soon Cheryl was warm and dry like a piece of toast. Now, said her father, we are going back out there. Don't pick up anything the fish throw out of the hole. These are smart fish. Right, said Cheryl. They went back and Cheryl jigged her line up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and said, I want to catch a fish. A candy bar with a line on it came up out of the hole. Oh no, said Cheryl. I'm not that dumb. She jigged her line up and down and up and down and up and down and said, I want to catch a fish. Up came a bag of popcorn with a line on it. Cheryl said, Oh no, I'm not that dumb. She jiggled her line up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and said, I want to catch a fish. Then up came a television. Wow, said Cheryl. That looks pretty nice, but I'm not that dumb. Cheryl jigged her line up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and said, I want to catch a fish. She waited some more, and up came a $50,000 bill with a line on it. Her father said, $50,000? He grabbed it and got pulled underneath the ice. Grrr, said Cheryl. She yelled down the line, Give me back my daddy. The baby fish stuck its head up out of the water and said, Hey, we caught him fair and square, and you can't have him back. Cheryl got an idea. She put a huge piece of bait on the line and she jigged it up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and said, I've got to catch a daddy fish. All of a sudden, a big fish grabbed the bait and Cheryl pulled him in. The baby fish stuck its head out of the water and said, Give me back my daddy. Well, said Cheryl, I'll give you back your daddy if you give me back my daddy. Grrr, said the little fish. Cheryl threw the daddy fish back into the water and Cheryl's father came flying up out of the hole. He said, "Brr, it's cold," and started turning into an icicle. Cheryl pulled her father to the tent and put wood into the stove till he was warm and dry like a piece of toast. Then Cheryl said, "Daddy, why did you grab the money? I thought you were smarter than a fish." "I am smarter than a fish," said her dad. "And I know that you are smarter than any fish, and I knew you would get me out. And I still have the money." Look at that bill in his hand. "Right," said Cheryl, and they went back to town and bought Cheryl her very own snowmobile. The end. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining me for Cammie's book reading. Have a great week.